Hi, it's Jodi, and I'm sitting in my truck alone. I was just sitting here gathering my thoughts between coaching clients and thinking about my drive to town. We're staying in Virginia. I have no cell phone signal and data when I'm in the mountains staying with Wyatt's family, but I have Wi-Fi, and I drive to town when I have to do serious work. I pretty much have enough Wi-Fi to like check Facebook. I can work on some stuff like in Google Drive and things that just require minimal internet. But when I have to have serious connection for chats and stuff like that, I had good luck doing Zoom and Messenger chats in the Wi-Fi at his dad's yesterday. But when I do my coaching, I make sure I'm somewhere with signal and all my backups. And so I drove to town today, and on my way here, I had time alone to drive, which is always very meditative for me. And I was thinking about, since we parked on Monday, I've had a lot of emotional roller coaster stuff going on, like ups and downs and just so many things. And I get a little overwhelmed, like anyone would, with just so many different things going on with my family and my own life and my friends and different things. And I'm really good at always being there for everyone else, and I'm not so good at being there for myself. And so when I get overwhelmed, what I do is, and I've frequently given this to other people, so I thought I would talk about it today on my daily Jodi video, where potentially anyone could see it and get this tool for their use. When I get overwhelmed, I just sit down and I take a deep breath, and this time I was driving, and I just say, what is my truth in this moment? What is true right now in this moment? Because when we get in our heads, we get lost in all our stuff, and it gets really easy to get tremendously overwhelmed and lose clarity and lose gratitude. I frequently do this before I make a gratitude list so that I can really get centered and in the right frame of mind. Sometimes we get so bogged down in all our stuff, and it's really hard to feel gratitude when you're worried about your bills or worried about your children or worried about work. So I'll just stop and I will just think, what is my truth in this moment? And so I was driving down the road, and the first thing I thought, well, my truth in this moment is I'm driving down a beautiful road in the mountains in Virginia, headed over the border into North Carolina, and the sky was blue and white fluffy clouds. So I'm like, well, that's true right now, that this is gorgeous and that I'm peaceful, and I'm gonna go to town to hook up to connection and do something I love, which is helping other people see their greatness and create the life that they really want by being able to go through what's going on right now and how can I deal with this. And it's awesome. I love coaching because it gives me help with my own stuff to talk about, with other people about things going on. It gives you perspective, particularly my group coaching. I just did Rising Tides. I know this conversation's all over the place. What else is new? I do group coaching, and it's called Rising Tides Group Coaching because I believe rising tide raises all boats. So it's Rising Tides Group Coaching, and I get 2 or 3 people together with me on a Zoom call for 2 hours once a week. And my Wednesday afternoon group is really amazing, and we've been together for a while, and it's really neat. Each person gets time to just talk about what's going on in their life this week, and then we all help each other. We all give different ideas and perspectives, and have you thought about it this way? And it's a beautiful way for us to be seen and heard and validated when sometimes we don't get that from other sources in our life that we feel should be seeing us and hearing us. And so it's a beautiful chance for us to connect and just talk about what's going on. It gives us accountability on our projects. It gets us another point of view on things we're dealing with that are all different parts of our life. And so I was really excited, to come do that. And so I was like, well, that's true. I'm really excited to go be doing coaching. And I was thinking about, okay, so I have my home, and I'm currently driving a truck that I own. That's a really nice truck, 2006 Ford F-250, and I really love it. and I'm really excited. It's true that I've learned how to be a truck girl after driving cars in cities. I'm a girl who drives a big truck in the mountains, on the roads in Virginia, and I feel totally comfortable. And it's true that I have now completed a 7,000-mile journey all the way around the country, and that feels really good. And I just started just thinking, what is my truth? What is my truth? I have plenty of food in my fridge. I have gas in my tank. I can drive somewhere without having to fill up because I already have gas. Just every little thing that was true for me in that moment. And it just really lifted me up to where I needed to be. And then I was able to just start being gratitude. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful. And it's a tool I use a lot. And while I was doing that, I was realizing that I got some clarity on some things. And I was thinking about, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what I'm supposed to be working on. I got 8 different things I want to do, and this and that. And I realized, no, you're doing just fine, and now you're settled, and you can settle back into all your creative endeavors. And now that I'm settled and still I can get a nice routine going for the work stuff, I do coaching. I try to keep my coaching mostly on 1 day a week so that I can just go somewhere, sit all day, do all my coaching appointments, and then another day I can sit and work on something else. And I've been kind of finding a routine already, just being home a couple days, like, well, I'll do all this on one day and I'll do all this on another day and give myself days of rest in between, and I'm trying to get better on that self-care thing. But I don't know, it's a really nice day today and I feel good, but I have definitely had to navigate some emotions post-trip. Last night I found out that I am adjusting to not being permanently in the truck and in the trailer with Wyatt. And we had gotten so close in 45 days of being together in a small space. It was really weird yesterday to like be separate and do different things. And at night when we got back together, like from him having his day and me having mine, even though we were at the same place, we were in different rooms doing different things. And we were talking last night, and I was like, it was just really weird not like being right next to you all day. It was really strange to kind of get back in a new groove. And so, yeah, it's I don't know, I'm just in this weird place where I'm just like kind of sitting still and letting all the feelings and thoughts, just observing, and it feels good. It feels really good, and I feel like the clarity that I thought wasn't there is actually there. I just needed to sit still long enough to notice and feel it, you know? So that was cool. I'm doing good. And I like that I can always say that. I like that I have found this place in my life where even though I have ups and downs, and even though I have times when I'm crying sad, or I'm just silly and goofy, or totally ecstatic because something great is happening, I like that I have found a place in my soul where I can be at peace enough that by the time I make my video each day, I can say I'm doing good and it's been a great day. And I think it's because another thing I thought about a lot on the road when I was driving, throughout the trip, but also today, just coming 15 minutes to Mount Airy, is I think about we are allowed. Ever since that came to me during my energy healing with Jessica, this whole realization came to me. We are allowed. It's been kind of my mantra, you know, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm thinking, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through, we're allowed. We are allowed. Period. End of sentence. We are allowed to be happy. We are allowed to be sad. We are allowed to feel our feelings. We are allowed to have a human experience. It's what we're here for. Life is all the things. Life is the times when you take the leap, and life is the times when you're scared and you don't know what to do. And all of it is living. Life is going to your job every day, and life is not having a job. Life is being married or being single or anything in between. We're allowed, no matter what you're feeling right now, No matter what you're going through right now, you are allowed to think, see, feel, believe, do whatever you need in this moment. And I also really, truly believe that wherever you are in this moment is exactly where you're supposed to be. And I heard that years and years ago. I used to watch Oprah regularly when I lived in Chicago. God, that was like over 20 years ago. In her early days, I used to listen to her, watch her show, and she had Iyanla Vanzant on, who just recently got really in the public view again all over Facebook. But Iyanla Vanzant had written a book, and she was on Oprah talking about it. And she said something that always stuck with me since the moment I heard her say it. She said, wherever you are in your life right now, you are exactly where you need to be to learn the lessons you need to learn. And it was profound. It really hit me when I heard that. And I've still, to this day, believed that. Over 20 years later, I've always believed you're exactly where you're supposed to be to encounter the people you're supposed to encounter, the experiences you're supposed to experience, the lessons you're supposed to learn, because every single thing that happens to you today will be something that you carry with you as you go forward. And that was another big theme that I've thought about a lot lately, is that you never lose what has already been. There's times when we make so much progress and so much momentum, and then something will happen and we'll feel stalled out, and it'll be like, oh, I'm not doing anything, I'm not making progress. But what we forget is that every second of your life that has already happened has happened, and now it's a part of who you are. You will never unlearn everything you already learned. You can't undo what you already did. So all the progress you've ever made in your life is still with you. And you can only build on that going forward. And when you realize this, I'm sorry, it's like shaky in the car. When you realize this, it gives you peace, because then suddenly it's no big deal if I didn't work on this project today or that project this week, because I didn't undo anything that I've already accomplished. I simply didn't go further as fast as maybe I thought it would happen, but it didn't undo all my progress and all my lessons and all the good that I've had, and everything that's happened before is still with me, is still in me. And I think the reason that came up for me was because it's coming up on a year since I left my job at the end of next month. It's been a year since I made my first video. A couple days ago was a year since I gave notice at my job, and it's coming up on a year that I've been free and doing whatever I want in my life. And I realized that there's times when I'm like, oh, you should have done this by now, you should have done that by now, I thought we'd have this accomplished. And then I stopped and I went, but you haven't lost any of the progress that you have made. And the only reason you feel stalled out sometimes is because you have too many good ideas. And you're allowed to do all the things, so you try to do all the things. And you need to just cut that out, chill out, and focus on one or two at a time. So for now, I'm focusing on rest after my trip, my coaching clients, and my virtual assistant job, because that's the stuff that I want to succeed at right now and do my best. And I know that once I get enough rest, I'll be able to start thinking bigger, broader, and actually doing some of these great ideas that are coming up for me right now. But yeah, so that's just kind of a whole jumble of where my head is at today. And I was all excited that I had time to make a daylight video because I haven't done that in a while. They've all been like, I'm so tired. We're in my bathroom in my trailer. So currently we're in Virginia, and we go between Stewart and Claudeville. The trailer's parked in Stewart outside Wyatt's mom's house. And then when we go visit his dad, we just stay in a room at his dad's. So they're, I don't know, like 20 minutes apart. And so sometimes we're in our house, and sometimes we're in his mom's, and sometimes we're in his dad's. And we're both just kind of taking a breath after 7,000 miles and 45 days. and just kind of figuring out, okay, well, I know I'd like to do these few things before the end of the year, and he'd like to do those things before the end of the year, and what does that look like, and how do we coordinate that? And we got a lot of good ideas for our websites and different things, and things we want to put out in the world and stuff. But like I said, I'm not rushing any of it. I'm just taking my time, because there's no time limit. There's no time limit. We get to take. We're allowed. We get to take as long as we want. We get to do what we need to do each day. And just right now, my priority, when I'm not being for myself, my priority and my work for others is my coaching and my virtual assisting work, because that's what I want to get good and routined and stable, and then I'll have that structure. I've learned in a year, I have learned that in this life of freedom and no rules, and I get to do whatever I want, I enjoy some structure. So I'm working on falling into a nice, easy kind of routine to give me a little bit of structure with the important stuff that needs it, and then everything else I can just be carefree around that. My biggest lesson right now personally is balance in all things. I lived a very routine life for a very long time, having 4 children and having a regular job that I had to be at a certain time every day. My whole life was just routined to death, and some of my first videos were about how I just longed for a life of freedom and spontaneity, and then I got it, and I really started getting comfortable. As I got more comfortable with the freedom and the spontaneity, I was being very impulsive and spontaneous, and it was very fun and it was very exciting, but somewhere along the way I realized I kind of went a little too far in the spontaneity, impulsiveness, and thought, all right, now it's time to get that easy flow, just of the balance with some structure, and so that's where I'm at now. But yeah, I just figured I'd turn this on and just talk as long as I needed to talk until I felt like I got it all out. So I have a bunch of ideas for like specific videos, 5-10 minute videos about different kinds of content, but I needed to first just do a daily Jodi and update everyone on where I am at. So now you know, that's where I'm at. And I just hope everybody is out there giving themselves permission to do whatever you need to do, feel whatever you need to feel, believe whatever you need to believe. There's no wrong answers. There's no wrong answers. And you can always go back. If you make a decision and you do something and you're like, this really wasn't for me, you can go back. You can always go back. Like, I can always go back to being corporate management. I can always go back to hospitality management if I want to. Like, if I go, okay, well, I kind of missed this or that, or you can go back. But at least if you put yourself out there and you try new things, you'll never regret not trying. You never regret trying, but you might regret not trying. I think of that a lot too, about how in 1998, Tom and I moved to Florida with 4 kids, and the bottom line, what it came down to, what made us make the decision to do it, was we didn't want to wake up 15 years later when the kids were grown and we were too entrenched in a different life and go, oh, what if we had? We're like, well, yeah, let's try it. If it doesn't work, we can go back. So, I don't know. Somewhere in all this, 19 minutes, there's probably some food for thought, for something for everybody. But that's the Daily Jodi for July 18th, 2018. I'm out. Have a great day. Message me. I'm always all about helping people find their truth, so don't hesitate to message me if I can help you or support you in any way. Bye.